Myself, Professor Venkat Ghodke. I am associated with Department of ENTC Engineering of AISSMS Institute of Information Technology. In this video, I will explain you the transmission line parameters. What is transmission line? As the name suggests that the transmission line is a structure which can transport electrical energy from one point to the another. At low frequencies, a transmission line consists of two linear conductors separated by a distance. When an electrical source is applied between the two conductors, the line gets energized and the electrical energy flows along the length of the conductor. A two conductor transmission line may appear in the form of shown in the figure. Here, the different types of the transmission line. Figure A shows that the coaxial cable transmission line. Figure B shows that the parallel wire transmission line. Figure C shows that the microstrip line. And last figure shows the unbalanced transmission line. First of all, I will explain you the coaxial cable. It consists of a solid conducting rod surrounded by the two conductors. This line has good isolation of the electrical energy and therefore has low electromagnetic interference, that is EMI. Now, the second type of the transmission line is called as a parallel wire transmission line. It consists of two parallel conducting rods. In this case, the energy is distributed between and around the rods. Theoretically, the electrical and magnetic field extend over the infinite distance through their strength reduces as the distance from the line. Obviously, this line has a higher electromagnetic interference, that is EMI. Now, the third transmission line is a microstrip line. It consists of a dielectric substrate having ground plane on one side and a thin metallic strip on the other side. The majority of the fields are confined in the dielectric substrate between the strip and the ground plane. Some fringing field exist above the substrate which decay rapidly as a function of height. This line is usually found in printed circuit board at high frequencies. Now, last type of the transmission line is called as the balanced and unbalanced line. If the two conductors are symmetric around the ground, then the line is called as the balanced line. Otherwise, the line is an unbalanced line. Now, we can see here the coaxial cable applications. There are the different impedances. We know that the impedance is a part of the cable specifications. So, here the 50 ohm impedance used in radio transmitter and communication receivers with a typical type number will be RG8/U and RG58/U. Similarly, for the second impedance, 75 ohms, it is used in cable television, TV antenna, field lines with a typical type number will be RG59/U. Now the 93 ohm impedance is used in computer networks with a typical type number will be RG62/U. In practice, it is usually unnecessary to find the impedance of the coaxial cable since the impedance is a part of the cable specification. Okay, so here as they indicated in the table, there are the standard impedances for the coaxial cable. Now, here we will see the concept of the transit time effect. See the figure 1. This is the figure 1 shows the transmission line, and figures B shows the transit time effect with the sinusoidal wave. It is important to note that the no signal can travel with the infinite velocity. That is to say that if a voltage or current changes at some location, its effect cannot be felt instantaneously at some other location. There is a finite delay between the cause and effect. This is called as a transit time effect. See here the figure, a second figure shows that the red color shows the sinusoidal wave, and here the P point and here the Q point, and from this to this is called as a transit time. We can say the transit time effect. Now here consider the two conductor line which is connected to the sinusoidal wave. This is the sinusoidal wave, or we can say the sinusoidal signal generated of a frequency at one end, and this is the another end, that is the load impedance at the other end. Due to the transit time effect, the voltage applied at a dash will not appear instantaneously at the b dash. Now we will continue the transit time effect. Let the signal travel with the velocity along the line. Then the transit time Tr is equal to L divided by the V. So L is nothing but the length of the line. At some instant, let the voltage at A dash be Vp. Then the Vp will be appear at Bb dash only after the transit time. However, during this time, the voltage at A dash changes to the VQ. Ideally, the transit time effect should be included in analysis of all electrical circuits. However, if the time period of the signal is much larger than the transit time, we may ignore the effect of transit time. That is, the transit time effect can be neglected if capital T is very, very greater than small tr. We know that capital T is nothing but the time period. That is nothing but the 1 divided by the f. F is nothing but the frequency, very, very greater than L divided by V. So V divided by F is greater, very, very greater than L. Since the V by F is equal to the wavelength lambda, so we will get the lambda very, very greater than the L. L is nothing but the length of the line. Transit time effect becomes important when the length of the line becomes comparable to the wavelength. As the frequency increases, the wavelength reduces and the transit time effect becomes more and more important. Now move toward the transmission line parameter. There are two types of the line constant. One is called as the primary line constant. Second one is called as the secondary line constant. First of all, we will see here the primary line constant: resistance, capacitance, inductance, conductance are called as the primary line constants. First of all, we'll see the resistance. It denotes the capital R. Transmission line are made up of the conducting wires. These are not pure conductors and have some resistance per unit length that is measured in kilometer or miles depending on the type of conductor used. Hence, resistance does exist throughout the wire. Now, second primary line constant is called as the inductance. It denotes the capital L. A wire carrying current gives rise to inductance since current is present in the line. The conductor is surrounded and linked by magnetic flux, and this phenomena demonstrate its effect in the distributed inductance all along the lines. Now, third primary line constant is called as the capacitance. It denotes capital C. Capacitance is formed when two conducting wires are separated by a dielectric material in between them. Transmission lines also have two current carrying conductors and dielectric between them. The dielectric may be air or open wire or core material or dielectric substrate. Thus, the distributed capacitance exists throughout the wire. Now, last primary line constant is called as a conductance. It denotes the capital G. The dielectric or insulator of the transmission line may not be perfect because of leaky capacitance. A leakage current flows and leakage conductance G exists between the conductor throughout its length. Now see here the primary line constant along with the distributed line parameters at the high frequency with the three different types of the transmission line called as a coaxial line, two wire line and planar line. Here the all the parameters are is the resistance measured in ohm per meter, inductance measured in Henry per meter, conductance measured in Siemens per meter or move per meter, and capacitance measured in farad per meter. Now the secondary line constant, the characteristic impedance Z naught, propagation constant gamma, attenuation constant alpha, and phase constant beta are called as the secondary line constant. These are again expressed per unit length of the line, and these constant vary with frequency and also depend on the primary line constant. But primary line constant are independent of the frequencies. Now here all the line parameters, we can use the two types of the circuit model. One is called as the Lumpur circuit model, and second one is called as the distributor circuit model. A Lumpur circuit model, a small sections of the length of the line dou x has resistance dou r is equal to the L dou x, dou L is equal to the R dou x, dou C is equal to the C dou x, and dou Z is equal to the G dou x. The Lumpur circuit for a small section of the line can be any one of the shown in the below. These are the figure shows the Lumpur circuit model, and this figure shows the distributed circuit elements or circuit model. The distributor parameters can be defined per unit length of the line or resistance of both conductors together for unit length of the line measured in ohms per meter. Capital L inductance cell for mutual inductance for both conductors together for unit length of the line Henry per meter, and C is the capacitance between two conductors for unit length of the line farad per meter, and last one is the G leakage conductance between two conductors for unit length of the line, that is measured in mho per meter. Thank you very much for watching this video.